Brighton could find themselves playing in the Conference League next season if Crystal Palace are barred from playing in the Europa League amid interventions from Nottingham Forest. The Seagulls enjoyed a strong first season under Fabian Hürzeler's stewardship, finishing 8th thanks to 4 wins and 1 draw in their final 5 games. But that was unfortunately not enough for Brighton to qualify for Europe, as their rivals Crystal Palace claimed a spot in the Europa League by beating Man City in the FA Cup final. However, the situation relating to which teams will be playing in Europe next term has been turned upside down, thanks to John Textor being majority shareholder in both the Eagles and French side Lyon. UEFA's rules on multi-club ownership do not allow for 2 clubs with the same owner or majority shareholder to compete in the same competition. UEFA Lyon finished higher in their respective league, meaning they take precedence when it comes to deciding which club can feature in the Europa League next season. As a consequence, Palace's spot in UEFA's second-tier competition could be passed down to Nottingham Forest, and the Midlands club wrote a letter expressing their concern over the South London club's participation in the competition. In an effort to avoid expulsion, Textor is now considering an offer from New York Jets owner Woody Johnson for his shares in the club, and according to The Guardian, Brighton may be in a position to benefit from the debacle. If Forest were to take Palace's spot in the Europa League by virtue of finishing 7th in the Premier League, then Brighton may qualify for Europe after all, as the Tricky Trees Conference League qualification could be passed down to them. Football finance expert Dan Plumley revealed to Football Insider that Forest's decision to write to UEFA was a financially motivated one, as a spot in the Europa League group stage was worth around £17 million. But according to the Guardian report, Brighton have no intention of making a complaint to UEFA and would be unlikely to join Forest in any legal action to prevent Palace from competing in Europe. Should the Eagles be allowed to compete in next year's Europa League, Nottingham Forest could appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Evangelos Marianiakis club are attempting to strong-arm their way to a place in the Europa League. Credit: Imago Brighton take the high road despite Crystal Palace rivalry. After somehow fumbling a place in not only the Champions League, but also the Europa League, Forest have reacted quite poorly to receiving a spot in the third-tier Conference League. The Tricky Trees have emerged as the sorest of losers, although the silver lining is that this debacle has made many forget about their decision to ban Gary Neville from attending the City ground after he criticized Evangelos Marianiakis. Meanwhile, Brighton are emerging as a club that understands the fundamental, and most important aspects of football. The Seagulls could pile on alongside Forest and attempt to strong-arm their way into Europe at the expense of their rivals. But the South Coast side recognizes the virtues of earning her sporting achievements, and whilst the Midlands side are busy embarrassing themselves, Brighton's actions are remarkably commendable.